So now you should be able to hear me, is that correct? And what I'm going to do is go through what Ecology is proposing for what we're calling a water resources management rule. It's also known as instrument flow rule. Everything that I'm going to go through is in this blue handout. And some of you had a chance to read through this earlier. Some of you are seeing it for the first time tonight. So to put everybody on the same page, so to speak, I'm going to go through it in a fairly short order so that we can have most of the evening spent answering questions. So, for those who don't know me already, my name is Wessel. I work in the Water Resources Program at the Department of Ecology. I'm the coordinator for all of the in-stream flow rule setting throughout the state, but in this particular rule, I'm the one who's actually drafting the rule language and will be taking it through the adoption process, so I'm very familiar with this rule. There's lots of other technical experts that have input into this process. A lot of them are here to answer your questions tonight. I'm just one person working on this project. And what we're proposing to do, as Tom and Sally have already talked about, is to adopt a rule that will help manage water, to protect water for existing water users, to protect the water that's in streams for fish and all the other things that depend on having water in streams, and to guide our decision-making on new uses of water, including new wells and new water rights. At this time, this is a map of Water Resources Inventory Area number 17, WRIA 17, also known as the Coastal Snow Watershed. It includes lots of eastern Jefferson County and part of Clallam County. At this time, the portion of the watershed that's in Clallam County we are not going to cover in this rule proposal. We're postponing that section that's shown in cross-hatching up there on the map. We're going to adopt a rule for that area after this process has gone through. So how does this proposal affect people using water? First of all, I'm going to reiterate something that Tom just said. The rule does not affect people using existing water rights, and this would include existing permit-exempt wells. And this map shows what data we have in our well logs back at Ecology on existing wells in WRIA 17. And the rule also doesn't affect anybody who's building a new house and getting water from a public water supply. Either the existing water there, or they're going to build a house in the future and get water from a public water supply. And the green areas on the map are what the data that we have on water service areas, and we know that those service area boundaries don't mean that they can actually serve every single parcel in that service area. But generally, that gives you an idea where there's water available or where there's existing wells that are not affected by the rule. The rule will affect new users of water outside of the public water supply area. As Tom mentioned, what Ecology is proposing is that for those people who want to drill a new well that aren't required to go through the water right process, in most of the watershed, as seen in this map, it's sort of a yellowish color, but in this light it's kind of an olive green. We're proposing a water conservation standard allowing up to 500 gallons per day for each new user. The main purpose of this water conservation standard for new permit-exempt wells is to protect streams, to stretch the water supply, set a consistent, generous standard throughout the watershed, and to manage future withdrawals, to protect streams, and to protect existing water users. The allowed uses of this water, some other rules in the state prioritize that this water would only be available for domestic use. In this proposal, we're saying that water would be available for potable water for new residences, for irrigating lawns or gardens, potable water for small businesses, water for industries, and for stock watering. And then because we heard from many interests and from the public that understanding water use and making sure that people are complying with the water management requirements, that measuring water is important. So we are proposing in this proposal that water be measured. So one of the big reasons for that is so we would get actual information about how much water is being used. And then we would use that information to improve the water management. 500 gallon per day conservation standard would apply to new permitted exempt well uses, except for in 3 areas. Tom has mentioned this: the Miller Peninsula, the Clipper Peninsula, and the Oak Bay area. What we are proposing, because we don't think there would be as many impacts in this area, is to allow expanded use of permit exempt wells up to 5,000 gallons per day